we have a very special treat that's sure to turn your day upside down.
What is it?
They're here.
Monsters are coming and you're all gonna die. Do it.
Oh my God! Hang on!
Now, we can begin.
There are monsters in Hawkins.
Go!
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Netflix dropped a bunch more Stranger Things Season 5 trailer footage, so we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs here. Also seems like we've had a little bit more clues about what's really going on with Vecna's arc in the final season, and it seems like it calls back to a lot of what's happening during the Stranger Things play First Shadow, which is basically Vecna's backstory, Henry Creel's backstory as he was becoming Vecna. As a lot of people have pointed out, there are a lot of details during the Stranger Things play that seemingly contradict what happens during Season 4, but the Duffers have said that the play is supposed to be canon, which is where all the theories are coming from. If you are brand new to the channel, I'll be doing videos for all the different volumes that they drop together. The first 4 are dropping next week with Thanksgiving. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer footage and working our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs, WTF moments, then I'll talk about the Vecna Henry Creel stuff that they're tying in from the First Shadow, it seems like. They mix together a whole bunch of different clips and voiceover from different parts of the first couple of episodes. We see Dustin at school. Notice his Hellfire Club shirt is ripped, but his face isn't all messed up like it is in the later trailers, like he's gotten into a fight at some point, like maybe this is that point when something happens he senses in the lunchroom and he gets into the fight. You notice that he hears Robin, who seems like she's become the DJ at the local radio station because a lot of the trailer scenes take place at that radio station. It seems like they use it as one of their bases. It seems like her patter here, her dialogue on the radio as the DJ, is actually code that she's speaking to everybody else that's part of the group. Notice she says, turn your day upside down. She's probably talking to the other members of the group here about some plan that they're doing. Then they mix to a clip of a Demogorgon. There are many, many Demogorgons across the season, across the trailers, because it seems like Vecna has an army at his command that he brings through the portals from the Upside Down. Then it's not totally clear where this scene of Eleven and Hopper are, where they see the giant wall that Vecna has constructed, like he's grown a giant wall, maybe to keep others out or to keep them inside. But it seems like it's happening in the Upside Down. Maybe this giant wall is just to protect himself until he's ready to actually move on them with his army.
Now, we can begin.
When Will is on the ground crying and someone is holding him and says they're here, this is probably when they walk through the portal, literally, because right after this we see the trailer scene of Vecna pushing through that giant portal in the military's cordoned off area, right before the trailer scenes, it seems like, where he picks Will up with his telekinesis and says he needs him one last time again. There have been so many theories about that, we will address that in a second. There's a bunch of other footage here. There are more scenes of Will looking up into the sky on the right side up in the normal dimension, just his Vecna detector because of that low-level psychic connection that they have between them. Maybe it has something to do with the Mind Flayer as well. That'll also figure into what was happening during the First Shadow and Vecna's overall storyline during this final season. We might not totally be done with the Mind Flayer. There is a lot of Nancy with shotguns in these different trailers, so it just seems like she unloads on a bunch of Demogorgons during this. Most of these scenes of Demogorgons chasing people around, running around, seem like they're happening in the Upside Down, but we do know that they break into the normal dimension eventually because of all the other trailer footage. Then there's actually a new scene of one of the brand new characters, Derek Turnbow, who's meant to be one of Holly's classmates, Holly Wheeler. He's supposed to be a bully during the season. Generally, the way he's described is people wondering whether or not he's going to change his ways, being such a bully, when the Upside Down infiltrates Hawkins. Holly Wheeler is Mike and Nancy's younger sister. She's described during this season as struggling to fit in at school because of bully Derek Turnbow not helping and finds solace in her imaginary friend. So when it says imaginary friend, Holly has an imaginary friend, doesn't that make you think of Vecna talking inside her mind? One of the mystery titles of the episodes this season implied that she was going to be one of the ones to get yoinked at some point. Maybe that has something to do with that. We also found out a little bit more about Linda Hamilton's character, Dr. K. She's the scientist who's taken over for Dr. Brenner. She's like the new version of Dr. Brenner, described as cunning, dangerous, and hot on Eleven's tail, which makes it sound like she's trying to track Eleven down and capture her so she can use her against whatever's coming, because she probably knows everything that Brenner knew. So you can imagine all the things that the military would want to do with 11, weaponizing her. That was kind of what Brenner was doing in the first place initially when he was trying to create all the new superpowered people from Vecna, from Henry Creel's original blood. Remember, Henry Creel was the first one who actually had genuine powers because he disappeared into Dimension X for a little while, then came back with powers. Then Brenner found him and used his blood to create 11 and all the other superpowered characters. So they were literally made from him.
He tried to recreate me.
This will actually figure into the endgame of the series and a lot of the theories that people have been coming up with, we'll talk about in a second. But it just seems like this scene here of Derek Turnbow is just yelling at them in the first couple of episodes, just trying to make people scared, being a bully. Like, you're all gonna die because all this crazy holes that are opening up. There's another scene of them in a barn getting ready to get attacked by a Demogorgon. I think this is also for the purposes of giving Joyce some action scenes. Like the Duffers wanted to give Winona Ryder some more actual action scenes. Like, no, you get to do way more stuff this season, so we'll give you a couple big action scenes. There's a couple more Demogorgons running around the communications tower here with holes opening up around it. You remember the previous trailers, there was actually a tendril of smoke rising up. People thought that might be the Mind Flayer. Maybe something with the Mind Flayer trying to use the communications tower to extend its influence across the planet. Not totally clear what 11 is using her powers on here inside this room, but then you see another new shot of Vecna with all the military around him after he's come through the portal, after he's going after Will. When he says, now we can begin, that's basically like the final phase of his master plan, or theoretically the Mind Flayer's plan, if this is really his plan pulling the strings on everything. Then there's the new scene of Steve driving everyone in the car with the communications dish on top through the portal inside that silo. So it seems they're driving into the Upside Down, but what do they need this for? My guess is to communicate with what's happening inside the Upside Down, like the antenna dish is meant to give them communications through dimensions. During one of the previous trailers, you saw a giant explosion going off inside the Upside Down. This might have something to do with that plan. Then there's a lot of footage of Demogorgons attacking people in their homes after they've all broken through. Notice that inside their homes, there are actual portals. So it's not that the portals are just opening up around the outside of town. They're opening up all over people's houses as well, too. Like literally all over the place. The barriers between dimensions just completely falling down. I think the idea is that Vecna wants to completely tear those down so that the Upside Down fuses as a dimension with the regular dimension. Maybe this had something to do with the way the Mind Flayer had gone across different dimensions, conquering other dimensions. Maybe it just literally absorbs other dimensions eventually. Just to address the whole Vecna endgame in Mind Flayer theory of all this, people have been talking a lot about the Stranger Things first shadow play and how that implies what they're going to be doing with Vecna and Henry Creel's character in the final season. If you have not seen the final Shadow play, the Duffers claim that it is meant to be canon to the main series. It seemingly contradicts some things that happened during Season 4, so we'll just assume for now that they're going to hand-wave some of those differences, and the first Shadow play is still meant to be canon. When you get Henry Creel's backstory during that, you actually learn that he was originally just a good, totally normal boy who disappears into another dimension, not the Upside Down, called Dimension X, for 12 hours, then returned with his powers under the heavy influence from the Mind Flayer. So this is why in present day, people think that the Mind Flayer has been controlling Vecna this whole time without him being unable to stop it, because during the story of the play, there's this dialogue from the Henry Creel character who says he was not strong enough to keep Mind Flayer's influence out of his mind. It's meant to give you vibes of Harry Potter and Voldemort with the Horcrux. The whole idea during the Harry Potter movies is that because he's a Horcrux, he has a low-level psychic connection to Voldemort, but Dumbledore helps him block his mind from Voldemort so that Voldemort can't take over his mind and influence him. And during this Henry Creel backstory, he explains that he was not strong enough to do that. So it seems like Mind Flayer has been influencing him this whole time, not the other way around, because a lot of people were wondering, based on Season 4 footage, did he create the Mind Flayer or did the Mind Flayer create Vecna? Because based on Henry Creel's new backstory from the play, it's implied to be the other way around, with the Mind Flayer having created and given Henry Creel his powers in the first place. Maybe as part of its long-term plan to eventually do what we're going to see during Season 5. During the cast interviews, Noah Schnapp and Millie Bobby Brown tried to stop from giving away too many details about a possible Vecna redemption story, misunderstood characters. Millie Bobby Brown tried to stop him from going on about that, like it was a big spoiler. So the new theory now is that they're actually going to try and reach the boy Henry Creel inside Vecna, if there's any of him left inside there, and it's going to be an Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader kind of turn, where Luke Skywalker was able to redeem him, and he was able to help Luke defeat the Emperor. So maybe Vecna, Henry Creel, will do that. Like they'll reach the boy Henry Creel inside Vecna, and they will turn against the Mind Flayer together. This also supports the theory that Henry Creel might be the only big death that happens this season. Maybe they'll kill some other people. We'll see if they have the guts to do that. But it does seem like a sacrifice that he makes to save everyone else. Partially redeeming him. He's killed a lot of kids, though, so I don't know if you can necessarily redeem Henry Creel Vecna. But you kind of get the Darth Vader, Return of the Jedi, Anakin Skywalker vibe. He turns back from Darth Vader into Anakin Skywalker at the end of the movie. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and the really big reminder is that episodes do start next week. We'll probably get a couple more trailers before then, so if you have any special requests for bonus videos or Easter eggs that I didn't address during this video or previous videos that you want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments. Everybody click here for a couple more clips from episode 1, and click here for all my other Stranger Things Season 5 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.